Project Management Insights, providing project managers with professional development in the interpersonal skills areas of leadership, team building, and communication. What was the answer to the question, do you have a project RACI matrix? Is it a yes or is it a no? You might be wondering what a RACI matrix is, so let me explain. RACI, R-A-C-I, is actually an acronym, and it stands for responsible, accountable, considered, and informed. What a RACI matrix does is it helps you map out and get clear on the stakeholders and people involved in your project who are responsible for delivery, who are accountable for making things happen, who need to be considered in decision making, and simply those people who you would keep informed. These are people that you might need to provide information to on an ongoing basis, perhaps as to where things are at, how progress is going. They are interested parties a lot of the time. And so a RACI matrix is basically a matrix. You can draw it up in either Word, or I like to use Excel. It's relatively easy. And what you do is you list out the key stakeholders or stakeholder groups for your project. This is really key. You probably will have identified these people as part of your business case building process. If you've done your business case well, then yes, these stakeholders will have jumped out and be very clear as to who they are. And even in that process of building your business case, you might have started to understand where the responsibility, accountability, consideration lies, and then which people fall into the keep informed bracket. And they're the ones that, as I said, just play on the outside and just want to be able to understand or know what's going on without actually being involved very much in your project. And so it's drawn up very simply. You'll probably find that if you do a Google search for RACI matrix, there will be some templates. Haven't got one ready and up on Project Management Insight yet, and I will in the future. So come back and have a look for that as part of the resources. And why use one? Well, it creates clarity. I like using it because there are very clear boundaries then on who is responsible and who needs to be responsible for, or who is responsible for this project. Sometimes those lines can get blurred when we have a project control board, for example, versus your project owner or project sponsor. They all have different levels of responsibility in relation to the project. And getting clear on that helps you understand where your decision makers are, because the people in the responsible boxes are the ones that are going to be making the decisions for the overall health and wealth of the project. The accountability are the people that are accountable are the people that actually do the work. They're the people that deliver for the project. So you, as an example, will be on the accountability side of the matrix or piece of the matrix, because as the project manager, you're the one that's accountable for overall delivery. You might have your stream leads listed out, and those stream leads are accountable for their particular work stream or work group, work package. And so again, it's about creating the clarity within the project team of who's responsible for what, who's accountable to make things happen, and then the next group are those people that need to be considered. So are there business SMEs, your subject matter experts as an example, who need to be considered in decisions around data or the way that a UI needs to look, or the way that a process is going to be changed and reworked and delivered up, or the way that manuals will be delivered, or the way that training might be delivered. These people might be people that need to be considered. So you list them out and add them to your considered space on your matrix. And then the informed, well, they might be some of the senior managers, for example, the senior manager of marketing, or your chief financial officer, or it might be the legal team if you have a project that's very much centered around legal, something to do with legal or statutory requirements. You might have other people that to be informed might be external vendors, as an example. And so it's a matter, again, of going through your complete stakeholder list and determining which group on the RACI matrix the people fall into. Now, don't overload it. Don't make it top heavy. This doesn't need to be a War and Peace type document. What we're doing here is filtering out and getting clear on the people that make the decisions. They will have a responsible tick. The people that are accountable, and here the smaller number you have accountable, the easier it's going to be to keep track and report on what's working, what's not working, where you're meeting deadlines and where you're not meeting deadlines, and therefore where you need to follow up. And the people that need to be considered, the more that you have in this group, the harder it might be sometimes to get to consensus about a decision. And yet your stakeholders in this group are important because they are likely to be the business, and they are the people that are going to be delivered, your project is going to be delivered back to after you've completed it, and therefore they do need a say in how it's going to look and what it's going to feel like. Otherwise, your change management is not going to work. So very seriously look at who are in your considered group, and whether you have a broad mix of people in this group enough that when the project is handed back to the business, they are going to be happy with the delivered outcome. This is key. The only way your benefits are going to be realised is if this group are happy with what goes back and they've had a say in what's being created for them. And if you do this, then you'll find that your BAU handover and your benefits realisation actually occur in the best possible way. So consider, if you haven't got a RACI matrix, the value of having one. Go and find a template, get your list of stakeholders and determine which category they fall into. Develop your RACI matrix by completing it, and then send it out and have it understood or available for all of your project to see, so that everyone is clear about which role they have within the project. Again, the more clarity you create, the better your project is going to be and the better chance of success. Until next week. Thank you for listening to this Project Management Insights podcast. Be sure to visit projectmanagementinsight.com and sign up for our monthly newsletter or to receive updates on upcoming training.